the Babylon Bee's topic of the week.
All right, we published an article this week. If you like secular things, try these Christian alternatives that are almost as good. And this was kind of a throwback. This was like this was inspired by the time that I worked at the Family Christian store. And we actually had a poster that told kids, if you like Evanescence, try Barlow Girl. If you like...
Yeah,
if you like Limp Bizkit, try POD.
Yeah. Blink-182?
Yeah, MXPX.
MXPX, yeah.
Although they kind of relationship with MXPX
Relient
is a little,
K.
MXPX would be a complicated relationship. Although they were better. MXPX is better than Relient K.
I disagree.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Way better. Oh man.
Well, I mean, yeah. Actual musicianship. Well, they're cheesy though. There's some cheesy songs.
I can't stand Relient K. I can't stand the guy's voice. Is my problem.
Yeah, he's a little. Yeah,
he's got that nasally thing going.
A little nasally.
But that's punk.
I had a bit of a pop punk bug.
I like pop punk.
I like the harmonies.
I like it too. I'm just
But I like. They're good anyway. But yeah, I haven't listened to them for forever. As a young Christian who could only listen to Christian music, which was a boundary I put on myself. My parents never really put that on me. Yeah, Relient K was good within that window.
When we were growing up, my brother was like the one who was almost like pushing the boundaries of like, can I buy this secular album? My parents would be like looking at it. I don't know. There's two dams on this album.
Can we say that?
I don't know. I'm like, it's in quotes. Two
D words.
I'm talking about the Hoover Dam. There's two references to the Hoover Dam on this album. So there's two, bad words on this album. And they kind of talk about, okay, you're 14. I think you can handle this one. And I think I kind of went the other way, and I'm like, I must only buy Christian music. So like you, I was more self-restricted.
Yeah, I did it when I was like 19 or something. Like, I burned everything and started over. Yeah. I really bought into that. I thought that it was going to cleanse me.
I remember I got into some friend's car, and we turned on a radio, and we were waiting for her. She ran to the house to get something, and she had secular music on all her stations, and I'm like, so I went and I changed them all to Air One. I changed all her presets to Air One. I was a weird kid.
Got to be a word for that. That's crazy. That's hilarious.
It's some kind of sociopathic impulse, I guess. I don't know.
You got like, it's like punked, but like the righteous version or something.
You're sitting there waiting, and she presses number 3, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, Air One. You just got Jesused.
Jesus juke.
The old Jesus juke. I don't know what it is that makes Christian stuff so bad, or why we always feel like we have to knock things off.
Yeah, I think it is like this combination of capitalism and Christianity, I think.
Yeah, like a consumeristic thing, right?
Because we like to create a
product.
Why you need this. Yeah. You are incomplete without this, which is built into Christianity already. So it's like, oh, there's Jesus, but you can also say, plus Jesus, you need this. And it creates this, and also it's really convenient because you're like, you got to burn all that and start over, buy all this that we make. and I think people smell a rat in it. It's like, okay, it's preaching.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah,
people go to art for preaching.
Yeah, right? I guess we don't see ourselves as Christians that are like, we're Christians that we're in a world, and the world has all this stuff, and we participate in it, and we can use discernment to say, this is something good, I should participate in, or this is something bad. But instead of doing that, we just like look at everything the world has and we just copy it, and then we take it into our own little world and make it our own. We have bands too. Yeah. We have movies.
When I was in my rock band, I made a song called Mission to the Moon. It was about, did I tell this?
I don't think so.
There's actually a YouTube video of it. You can see it's fully animated. It took me a full month to animate. It's about a guy who these aliens come to him and they tell him that the Earth's going to end, and so they've created a new place to live on the moon for Earthlings to go and live, and but it's his job to tell everybody. So then he wakes up in the morning, he like writes up plans for a rocket ship, and just takes off for the moon by himself. And then when he gets to the moon, he sits up there in a little tower, and he just yells at the Earth and tells everybody, but it's from the moon, and then he just watches the world explode. But that was kind of I was like 20 when I wrote it, I think, but my analogy was just that, we box ourselves in as Christians. We like to create a safe little moon paradise that we live on where everything's safe and Christian. And then like from inside that weird little world we've created, then we're kind of telling people, oh yeah, come join us. You know, it's like,
yeah. Yeah, it's a marketing thing. You see, you know, you guys have music? We have music. Check it out. It's almost as good.
Yeah. And it's a shortcut to righteousness, right? To just like, be like, oh yeah, I have Jesus approved music. So therefore I am good. It's kind of like the right side of history thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm on the right side of the CD aisle.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that there is some analogy, like when I was saying as a kid, you know, I'd go and change everybody's presets to Christian music, or like,
yeah,
you know, it is this weird judgy thing of like,
yeah,
hey, wait a minute, you listen to secular music, and we have to have that label on everything: secular,
yep.
sacred, secular, sacred.
We like teams, we like labels.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody does. It's just the Christian version.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Because you know, when people buy a product, they're not buying the product; they're buying the identification with that brand.
Right.
You know, this is something that marketing has looked into, and all the research looks into, is like someone buying a Pepsi is buying the fun of drinking a Pepsi. I'm not buying a Pepsi. I'm buying the choice of a new generation, you know, or whatever, like whatever it makes you feel, if it's young or rich or successful, that's what you're buying.
Yeah.
So as a Christian, it's like, I'm looking for ways to feel approved by God or something, you know, I'm looking for approval, and I'm looking for that sanctification and the validation that I'm growing in my Christian faith, and so I can buy the product.
Yeah.
To validate my identity as a Christian, rather than just having the identity in Christ. And I would listen to a little secular music or whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
And we all want, not just Christians, we all want a very simple way to go, me good, they bad. Like, I see my teenager going through this right now. She's discovered the social justice stuff, and it conveniently makes her good, them bad. And if you try to like give her any alternate facts or anything, just to open her mind to it, she doesn't want to open up to it, because it's nice to be in that place where like, I have this stuff, I am part of this club, I am good, they are bad. The guy with the secular music is bad, I'm good. The guy that smokes is bad, the guy that doesn't smoke is good. Like, to have these bonus commandments. I think Charles Spurgeon said that when they was asked why he smokes. You know, I don't add another commandment, there's already 10. There's no thou shalt not smoke commandment.
Actually. But yeah, no, and now that you're talking about it, I'm wondering if there's a connection to cancel culture where
totally.
you have trouble consuming media from someone who disagrees with you. You know, and I like all the leftists that are suddenly discovering this, like, I might have to consume media from someone I disagree with.
No,
you're like, really? Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, welcome.
like, we've been doing that for decades. So, and we've learned to make peace with it. You know, people are burning J.K. Rowling books or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, people that have a Harry Potter tattoos, getting them removed because she's a TERF or something. And she disagrees with me on this one minor thing, even though she's like entirely in my political camp.
Yeah.
And believes everything I believe. There's one little thing.
Yeah.
And there's this like intellectual purity that must be maintained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're buying. Yeah, it is that they are consuming to reinforce their identity and to identify with something. And it's like, oh, they disagree. I can't partake in that. You know, that's how I felt growing up.
Yeah.
And this wasn't any fault in the part of my parents or my church. This is just me being a self-righteous little jerk, you know, like.
But is there a good side to it?
I think so. I mean, I wasn't exposed to a lot of terrible things that other people were exposed to, you know.
Well, and I think it inevitably it brought out artists that may not have been discovered in a secular market. I think there's artists like Five Iron Frenzy who I don't know if they would have. Who knows if they, you know, some of these smaller, a lot of the bands I like that were on Tooth and Nail. Like, I've been listening to Stretch Armstrong again after a while. You know, Craig's Brother, these small punk bands that were, you know, they never made it that big, but because of Tooth and Nail, they were on the map. They were in Christian bookstores and stuff. And so I mean, like, there's good stuff that comes out. It's not, once again, this is what we're arguing against. Black and white. This is good. This is bad.
Yeah, there is a gray, and I think there is good that comes out of it. I was listening to Slick Shoes the other day. Their Wake Up Screaming album. It's just like, this is pretty good pop punk. Like, it's as good as something that you hear in the
that guy was like 12,
world.
I think.
Was it? Yeah, he was pretty young.
Really,
right?
I guess he was going to high school, like doing homework while he was touring.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and at its best, I mean, the Christian world produced these guys like Five Iron Frenzy that you feel like they weren't really happy being in the Christian space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it wasn't like we're ashamed of our faith or, you know, it was just like, we want to make music.
You don't want to be a product.
Five My Friends was singing about slaughtering of the Indians and stuff, slaughtering of the Native Americans or whatever. They would sing about these topics and consumerism.
I always love a good old Indian slaughtering
I always love
song.
a good Indian slaughtering ska song. That's what really makes you want to skank. Them.
Can you call them Indians?
That's what I said. I changed it and I said
Oh,
Native
changed it.
Americans.
Okay.
So sorry, Reese Roper.
I think it's
Apologize.
indigenous peoples now. I think they've changed it again.
As an indigenous now, I don't know.
Because Americans.
But you have these guys. I mean, Switchfoot, I think, is like better than any secular band to me. Like,
Well,
they absolutely
that's
are.
an extreme statement.
No, I mean, like they
to you.
They make music. They make art that's like. I mean, they're top 5 band for me.
Okay.
Top 5. Switchfoot.
I'll let you have that.
And
My wife probably agrees.
yeah, and it's something where it's not this tame Christian sound in music. It's like we just want to make music. And I think as Christians, we always, we eat our own and we go, oh, you want to become secular? Oh, you're a sellout.
Yeah.
I think that really does a disservice to some great art.
Yeah, I think it's more that I'm fine with Christians making Christian products. It's this is holy, that is not approach.
Yeah.
Like having that attitude. Marketing it that way, I think, is evil. Like I've seen, you ever seen those? There's like ads that are on like you couldn't see them because they're on the radio, but there's ads for like Christian healthcare or whatever. It's
Oh,
and they're like
the
healthcare,
Medshare programs.
healthcare as God would want it, or something. Like it's really like what? Like I'm not a Christian if I don't get your healthcare or whatever. That kind of stuff bothers me.
Yeah, and what's funny? I hear that those programs. I know some people that use those, and they really love it
Yeah,
because they actually are like writing a check.
that probably worked for some people. That kind
It's
of
this weird
advertising.
sharing thing where like you actually write a check for another Christian's bills that month. Like you don't send a company a $500
Wait, are
check.
we advertising for them?
No, I've just heard about it. I don't even know what the name of the company is.
Okay.
But like you don't write a $500 check to the company. You're like, hey, Bob in Minnesota got his
Okay.
knee, and you write Bob a check and you send it to him. Like that's kind of how it works as you're sending. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that concept. But yeah, if you're like using it to like judge people, like, oh, you use.
Yeah, I don't think those work well for us because my wife's type 1 diabetic, so we'd be just getting a check every month from
Come on,
everybody.
send them in.
Keep it coming.
Come on. Yeah, keep it sending in. But yeah, I didn't necessarily just want to talk about music. I mean, we knock off everything. I remember at the Christian bookstore, we had a PC game section.
Yeah.
And there was this game called Katechumen or Katekumen, however you want to say that.
Okay.
And
That's a spice.
it was almost an exact real life version of that game on The Simpsons where he's like shooting. They go over to Flanders' house and they play a video game. You want to play Bible Shooter, Bible Blaster, or whatever? And they're like shooting people
Okay.
and turning them into Christians. It's like, but it was like dead serious.
Dead serious.
You walked around with a Holy Spirit gun, which is a sword of the Spirit, and you blasted these blue beams out. And if you hit a Roman guard, he would like, and you hit him enough times, and he just falls to his knees and goes, and this light comes down from heaven, and he, hallelujah.
Yeah, I love it. It said,
And he converts.
hallelujah.
I was showing you yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like absolutely hilarious.
It looks like satire.
It looks like
a
satire,
spoof.
but it was dead serious. We sold it in the Christian bookstore. They made a sequel to it. I think it was just like, this is bizarre, But I was like always interested in like, I wonder if I can find a good Christian video game. I never did.
I always thought that'd be a cool game where like it's like Grand Theft Auto, but you're in the normal world and you can put on your demon goggles and so you can see what else is going on in the spirit world around everybody.
Yeah, like
And you have to fight them.
like Frank Peretti, this Present Darkness video game or something.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I never read it, but yeah, sure.
It's our idea. Patent pending.
Let's do it.
We're going to make it.